How do I tell if my hard drive is too old? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's the question I got. What is the indication that the hard drive is getting too old and when should one replace it? This actually seems like it makes a lot of sense. Things get old, you want to replace them before they fail. I understand. The problem is, while we would like there to be a very simple, I'll even say common sense answer, there isn't one. There just isn't. Let me explain why that is and what you should be doing instead. The fundamental problem is that hard drive failures are unpredictable. They can happen at any time to drives that are new or old or anywhere in between. And they can be sudden, complete, and irrecoverable. Yes, some drives will fail very quickly. And in fact, manufacturers will often do what's called a burn-in cycle that actually runs the drive for some period of time before it even leaves the factory, just to make sure that these initial failures aren't something that they end up shipping. Some drives seem to last forever. They really do. It's quite amazing sometimes how long a drive will continue to work. However, many drives are somewhere between. They can fail with warning. In other words, there may be software running on your machine that pops up a little warning that says, hey, the drive is telling me that there's too many errors or it's too hot or any number of different things that would kind of be an indication that, yeah, there's something coming down the pike that you might want to be aware of. Some drives just get slower. There's no other indication. They just get slower. And while you might be able to recover from some types of slowness, check disk/R, for example, is one thing that if the problem happens to be a bad sector, check disk/R may allow you to work around that for an extended period of time. But getting slower often simply means that the disk material is having problems. It's having trouble reading and or writing to that material. And if that's increasing over time, well, yeah, the drive's probably slowly going bad. They work, but they just get slower. And like I said, hard drive failures can come without any warning whatsoever to any drive at any time. Some drives will just fail. Boom, they're done. And some of those that fail suddenly will fail so severely that there's nothing to be recovered. Literally everything in that drive has been lost when it fails. The problem, of course, is that we can't predict any of this. There's nothing I can point you to say, this is what you should be paying attention to understand if your hard drive is about to fail. Yep, there are tools. They may tell you something, but there's no guarantee that they will. There just isn't. Your drive, even with a tool reporting that everything is hunky-dory, to use the term, it could still fail moments later. By now, I'm sure you know where I'm headed with this. This is exactly why backing up is so critical. Because you just don't know. Backing up will protect you from unanticipated hard drive failures. As long as you're backing up, well, you're backing up correctly, you're backing up often enough, chances are, if you are, then a hard drive failure becomes an annoyance rather than a catastrophe. The good news, of course, is that backups protect you from so much more than hard drive failure. And in fact, I would claim that backups are used to recover more often from things other than hard drive failure. But nonetheless, since we're talking about hard drive failure, if your hard drive right now, whatever it is you're doing, if it were to fail suddenly, if you've got a backup taken recently, then you can replace your hard drive, restore your backup, and get on with your life. If there's anything else going on, if you don't have your backup in place, things get significantly more complicated and significantly more painful. Now, I do want to point out that there is one more common kind of failure. In fact, I would call it the most common kind of failure for hard drives in general. And that is simply that they get too small. Now, to be clear, the hard drive is not getting smaller. Our expectations, or in many cases, our requirements, are getting larger. Windows gets bigger over time. Your applications get bigger over time. The data that you're working with gets bigger over time. Pictures, for example, JPEGs, the pictures you take with your digital cameras, they've been getting bigger over time. All of this accumulates and adds up to mean that your hard drive that was once huge, now it isn't quite cutting it. It's not quite big enough for everything that you're trying to do today. In those cases, yeah, the right solution may very well be to replace the hard drive. And your backup tool can help you. Take an image of the old one, replace the hard drive, restore the image, and you're pretty much done. But the bottom line is that more hard drives fail not because they failed at the hardware level, but because they have slowly started to fail to meet our needs. And yeah, that's a situation where replacement is sometimes the right answer. So the most important thing for you to take away from all this is simply to recognize that your hard drive is under constant threat of instant and complete failure. Sounds horrific. It's not very likely, but it does happen. And the only way to protect yourself from that is to have a backup regimen you can rely on, something that is making sure that everything on that drive is backed up regularly so that you can simply replace the drive and get on with your life. I hope that's helpful. For comments, for updates, for related links and more, visit askleo.com/149721. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.